So you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. This is John from Flint Top Radio, and I have people who've been following this story here. Organized Tim together. How you doing, Tim?
Good. How are you, John?
Yeah. So today you called me to kind of there's an urgency there, so I figured we would come in right now because you pressed the issue. You really wanted to come in and talk. So let's talk. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in your recovery, and the other day you were here with your brother, and I was just wondering if I'm curious because I want to get fresh. What's going on? What prompted you to be contact me, and when you want to get the story out more? What there's any kind of precipitating events you want to cover?
Events. I don't know if there's events per se. I can't actually hear.
Okay, can't hear one ear was supposed to hit all.
All right, now I can hear it a little better.
Okay.
I can't hear me though.
Okay. Well, you could probably. I don't know what's going on with that. If you can
It's
hear
recording
me,
though?
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay. I have always wanted to capture some of the realism involved in this, just to be. I guess I just wanted people to see, and I've done a lot. As you know, I put things on Facebook that are pretty candid, pretty personal, and I've done a lot of things in an effort to kind of give people a glimpse of how destructive this has been, as well as just trying to get help. And that's closer to why I'm here tonight. I'm not using. I feel maybe stronger than ever as far as I really have no desire to use because I so badly want to move ahead. And I guess I just want to close the book on this chapter, so to speak. I want to put things behind me. And
there's something. I mean, this weighs on me. I'm curious, and there's something why it must have had, caused this kind of emotional connection or reconnect, or this kind of this something sets us off, basically. What's going on inside of you right now. I mean, of course, and again, when you're dealing with what you're dealing with, I mean, there's all kinds of things to remind you. I mean, there's no way you can calculate or describe why they're doing what they're doing to you. So, is that what happened today? Or?
I'm just frustrated because, 5 months ago, I separated from my wife, and we've since divorced, and it's 100% a result of my addiction and the fact that I just put the drugs before her, and I didn't give her really any reason to have any hope that be able to beat it. She went into the marriage with not a lot of experience with people like me, and I know she anticipated a much different life. And I myself did as well. At that point, when we married, it had been less than a year since I had been to rehab. But I felt like I was progressing, and I just felt there was no way I would ever allow that to.
See, that's the thing with addiction. I think with anything that we do that we're letting ourselves down, we're also letting others down. Is that we think we have a grasp on it. And maybe just a temper. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a substance abuse. It might be a temper, maybe a straying in territories or subject matter that we promise that won't be brought up again. And there's a need almost all of a sudden, sometimes the things in our own lives set off this need to, they trigger our kind of aggressiveness, or they try to trigger this emotional outburst that now we bring out, we kind of trigger that in another person. And another thing is too, marriage, basically nowadays, I don't know if there's ever a time when anybody truly, really, really meant what they said when they said, for richer, for better, for worse, for lean times and good times. Most people expect good times. I mean, there's going to be some strain in budget.
Yeah, that's some of what's so hard about it, is I honestly believed there would be some, and she knew that I wasn't a finished product. She knew I had things to work on, but I think we both expected things to be good, and they really weren't, and it was because she just was constantly anxious because she couldn't really trust me at all to be that I was telling the truth, no matter no matter what, I didn't like cheat or anything like that, but I was dishonest, and I lied, I stole, and I put the addiction before her. And, I did, uh, I did mean my vows, and I think that's what has been so difficult, is I was the last one to see this coming, like I never expected this to happen. And, I understand it. Like I don't blame her at all, because I don't want her to be a hostage or a prisoner. It's not what a marriage should be like. And I wouldn't want her to stay just because she had made some vow that she had since regretted. It's not what I wanted, but it's still devastating to see like how far I pushed her away, to just the tone in her voice, the look on her face the last several times we interacted. It was just awful. And
See, the basic, the pop psychology view of relationships is you don't go into them with any expectations. And then again, I always want to ask people saying that, it's like, well, if you don't have any expectations, then why you're in a relationship? And there is expectations. I mean, you probably envision you guys growing older together and the rocking chair on the porch.
yeah, I remember one of us came across an article in the paper where like the couple that had been married 50 years ago, or had been married for 50 years, died within 15 hours of one another. And yeah, that's what I envisioned, and that's what I expected, and I think that at a time she did too. Like it was really an honor for her to marry me, and just to know that like her life got better the day she left.
That has to be her. That has to be. And it's like something that let's face it, guys. Even though we're talking nowadays because of feminism and stuff, we're not look at ourselves as the white knight and the savior of the woman. We still have a lot of that. I mean, I think it's almost genetically programmed. Because it's not there anymore, but we still have that mentality basically in our heads.
Whatever like the cultural expectation is, we had our own, and she had every right to expect me to be more, to be better, to provide more, to put her before me, certainly to put her before my addiction. Like I don't blame her. I don't blame her for leaving whatsoever. But after like 5 months now, it's been since we split, and maybe a couple since the divorce went final. Like I'm having a difficult time not only letting go of that, the guilt, for different reasons, but just moving forward in general. And I don't know if it's because my brain's just still like healing from all the use over the years, and so like chemically it's just off, or if I'm just like learning how to process emotion after numbing them out. I mean, it's probably a combination of different factors, but it's like killing me. It's like it's been probably been like 5 months since I've had just like a good day. I don't even know now. Like I have a lot of determination because, they say like until the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, you won't change. And so I've reached the point where like the pain is just so immense that I'm willing to change. I have no reservations. I'm really willing to do anything, and I am doing a lot of things. And but it's just like it's wearing me down, and I know that it's wearing people in my life down. People who have been trying to help me just get through this and move ahead. And so I feel bad. And it's part of the reason I wanted to come here and just try to get everything off my chest and move forward, because I don't want to keep echoing the same things anymore. I just want to move on. And again, having had no time in my life where I think I was like a normal, healthy, functioning adult, I don't really know what to expect or how to do that.
So your experience there is something I've heard from other people who went through addiction is they're saying that they're so numb for so long that when the emotions started coming back, it was like a rush that they just simply couldn't handle. They didn't know how to sort out. They didn't know how to. They didn't know where to go. They didn't know how to prioritize anything. It's because their brains are rewired. Something comes over that overarchingly takes over in your life, and it's like the priorities are switched. The concerns of just use of a drug every day, and the logistics behind getting it. It's like that's what I was told. I mean, and it seems to be pretty much what I'm hearing from you is exactly what they described to me. It's to get the rewiring process to go back to the area where most of us might be, or the rest of us who haven't gone through addiction. But the thing is, there's a question too: is anybody really helping? I mean, really, we have the different manifestations for our illnesses or for our dysfunctions. Yours is maybe just more easy to pinpoint, but the rest of us also have, we have failed relationships as well for other reasons. We maybe have an emotional barrier that we just don't allow anybody to come across. We have these self-preservation techniques, these strategies, and see, now you're basically sitting there mentally, emotionally naked. That you don't know. Your own coping mechanisms and stuff you had are no longer available. That's what I'm hearing. That's something that I've heard a few people say to me, that they no longer know how to deal with what they used to be able to deal with.
Yeah, it's awful. I can say pretty confidently, were it not for my love for my son, I don't think I'd be here. I've never done any self-harm, but I fantasize about it. I'll imagine myself cutting myself for something disturbing, and it'll just play on a loop, a 5 or 6 second scene in my head, and it'll just play on a loop for a minute or two, and it's kind of everybody right now is aware that the ISIS beheadings of American journalists, and it's that kind of thing for me, where it's just this image I can't get out, and I imagine it as being a relief, and I don't even know where that really came from, and I would never act on it. There's a lot of things I would never do, and I really truly believe intellectually that I'm going to get better, that this is the bottom for me, which is part of why I'm here. I want to record it and I want to remember it so I never come back to it.
It's got to be painful. I mean, it's you're basically making this public to other people, and there's going to be people who are well-intended and listen to it and feel emotional, and they're going to feel pity, which is, I guess that's nice. They feel disconnected to us, so they say, "Poor you," but then again, you can't live on that. You can't live on pity. You can't. After a while, that's going to be coming in front to you as well. And you don't want the pity.
It is, and it bothers me. It bothers me in a way. Like I said, I've put so much out in the last few months that could solicit pity, and I don't want that. I plan when I walk out of here, man, I'm not taking calls, I'm not taking emails, I'm not returning texts, I'm not checking in on Facebook. As lonely as I can ever remember being, I can't even imagine having ever anticipating this feeling or whatever. Yet at the same time, I just want to be alone. Like I don't want that. I don't need that. But I do feel like I need some help. And again, not to like quit using. I don't need rehab. I'm not about to do that. I spent a lot of time like working on things spiritually, and I don't know, maybe I need more help there. Some people tell me like I'm not connected like I need to be. Again, I don't know. So I really don't want anything from anyone. I kind of would maybe like to think some people might understand me and what I've done a little bit better after seeing this, and maybe if not me, then other people in their lives, someone else maybe that has gone through what I've gone through or what I put myself through, as well as others, and I'll help them with that a little bit. I'm just lost. I'm blessed. I'm grateful for the job I have. I like it. I'm actually making plenty of money, and I'm so grateful for my son and my parents for trying to help me get through this. And again, I feel some optimism when I look at things intellectually, but emotionally, it's just not there. Like I don't.
Maybe it's just the fact that maybe you don't want to simply deal with what you put yourself through. I mean, the only thing I can come up with the analogy is we've all accidentally hit ourselves or bit our inside our cheek or something, bit our tongue, and there's a rage here. When we want to slug somebody, the pain's here, but we did it to ourselves, totally inadvertently. We didn't intend to do that. But just, I mean, I don't know if you ever experienced like you felt like you rage, you did something to yourself, and now you wish you could put it on somebody else.
Yes, I do. I have a lot of like, self-loathing, a lot of anger, and I don't want to, like, I refuse to keep going forward like this. I won't, because I won't do that to Julian. I won't do that. I have a lot of guilt there, and I don't. I won't put myself in a situation where I don't go home to him.
Yeah, and that's another thing with being a father is like, I guess you have to start seeing yourself, when you're married, you're supposed to promise yourself to this other person. When you have a child, your life is not totally in your own hands. You have other people, other things to answer for. And we feel like you let those people down. At some point, I don't know if it's going to be forgiveness or it's going to be time that you just put so much distance between who you are now and who you are at that other point. You can actually sit there and say, I can live with what I did because I did everything I could to rectify it. But there's always going to be regrets, and they're always going to crop up. I mean, I've listened to people say their interviews about their life. They, had a checkered past. They say they had no regrets. And I'm sitting there constantly at home. People can say that. There's regrets at the end of my week every day. I should have done this. I should have mowed the lawn. I should have trimmed this. I should have done that. And we're talking about relationships that basically there's fragility to relationships that we're not aware of, especially when we're younger. The people who are around us, a lot of times, there's no reason why just look at friendship. There's no reason why people should be. There's not one reason they can actually articulate why they're your friend, but they're still your friend. Now, if they can articulate it, how much of a friend they really are. Basically, is it a user relationship? I mean, when you're dealing with all these other emotions, and you let yourself down, you let these other people around you down, that has got to be hard. It's got to be raw inside.
Yeah, it is, and it's the thing is, like, it's all I wanted. I just I had what I wanted, and maybe that's part of why this happened, was because I wasn't working for anything. I wasn't striving for more. I wasn't striving to like care for and protect my family like I needed to be. I just took them for granted. But like I just, again, when I talk about those loops, like I just remember my wife, my ex-wife, saying to me that essentially my addiction destroyed her love for me. And I understand it, but I don't. Like I can't ever, like you see this, like you see the stories, you see like A&E intervention, and it's like where was my intervention? Like where? There's nothing for me to go back to really and see like a fork in the road or anything like that. And that's just how my whole life is, just this nightmare for like a decade of this life. And so when I think about the damage that this has done to Julian, the divorce, it's one of the most awful feelings I've ever had.
There's no way that I could, that part, I've never been in a relationship or marriage, never had a child, so I mean, there's no, I can't give you a wall of a plan to cover that, but I mean, at some point, and I see this already in you, I mean, we talked for a few months on and on. I see that there is, I mean, I don't know, was there any kind of form of intervention? What did you realize you needed to seek out help? You had to admit there was a problem. If there wasn't like an official intervention on behalf of the family, or your wife, or ex-wife.
I don't know, like, all throughout my life, there could have been one. I mean, I just managed. I never got like arrested. I never got physically hurt. So there was no maybe opportunity for other people to see how bad it was. It's not for. I don't want to put it on anyone else anyway. Like they should have intervened. I guess I'm just saying that I never imagined throwing away what I had for what I did, and like I'm not high anymore. I can't. Those feelings are gone. Those drugs are gone, and with them, my whole world, my life, and I'm trying very hard to like rebuild and stay focused on the right things and just stay positive and let go of the past, and it's just slow coming, so it's frustrating. Because I can't even like the emotional state I'm in. It's difficult for me to really even set like goals or look forward to anything. I've recently just scaled everything back. Like I feel awful for my dad and my mom for what they've been through, for the fact that they're getting older. They're like, I should be taking care of them, not the other way around. I feel terrible, man. I've stolen usually just like small things, but like from everybody. Like I've just made it a way of life. I've lied. And I'm having such trouble just releasing all that and looking ahead. And again, I don't know. I don't know if it's a chemical thing, a spiritual thing, or what. But I just know that like I'm pretty much walking out of here tonight, and it's all I'm focusing on. Like I'm going to work and I'm coming home, and I don't know what else. I can't even eat. Like I don't even think about eating. I really have to rebuild myself and my life from the most like fundamental building blocks, and it's all because of fucking like heroin. It's all because of my addiction, and it's all shit I did to myself that I didn't have to do that is still, in some way, I'm allowing it to like rule over me. And I'm just through with it. Like I don't know if I can do another one of these shows or another one of these interviews. I don't know if I'm gonna. Like I don't see any more of it. I don't see myself talking about any of this again. Like I never. I just want to move forward. I don't know how to do that.
And you can't. I mean, you can't do that. Keep on beating yourself up emotionally. I mean, I remember one time I had a lot of anger issues going on when I was in college. This was only about 15, 18 years ago. And there was a college professor there. It was a friend of mine. He was a psychology professor. And he had some, I guess he had some past stuff in the past. He asked me if I was able to like travel. And I was like, well, I couldn't because it was kind of, but there was a series of seminars he had. And basically what it was, these classes that they're offering, teach you how to be a human. And it seemed like a lot of people don't want to go through life and escape the problems and pitfalls. And the rest of us have to have these real serious kicks in the crotch, to learn. And then it takes that to do that, for us to learn that. Because I personally shut off anybody else and say, you can't do this, you can't say that. I did it anyway. So in some ways I can understand. I regret what I said and did, and I reacted. I had to have my own way, in that sense, I shut off everybody's objections to the emotional value of everybody else around me. But at some point, I think you just basically, what's the saving point is also the point you can use to actually understand yourself is you are human. With all its frailties, with all the greatness that can actually potentially sum it up from it, you are human. And that's both a blessing and a curse. And if you can forgive, could you imagine yourself saying you were the roles in reverse, where it's very similar and made parallel between you and somebody else, and they felt so much remorse that you're going through, and they're displaying this physically in an emotional way, and they were talking about what they did to you. Could you forgive them?
It's too hypothetical. I haven't been on that end of it. I would assume, but I don't know.
It'd be hard to answer.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because there are times where I don't want to forgive anybody for anything. I mean, I can be an asshole, and I don't. Sometimes when I motivate myself, it's on the basis of I'm not forgiving anyone for anything. That I'm holding them accountable for the most minor of things, whereas I expect to have some kind of forgiveness for far more nefarious infractions. I'm a hypocrite on top of everything else. So,
See, the thing is, my observation, what I've heard from you is, most of us have opportunities where we're going to see this stuff manifest in our own lives over a period of time, and you either have the advantage or disadvantage, if you want to look at it, having all the potentials of regret and have to deal with our own fallibility. You've had it just basically in a real brief time. Most of us have it spread out over a period of time, a lifetime. A lot of that would be less painful to deal with. We might have some devastating setbacks, but one or two, and then they move on to some good stuff. Now you're dealing with everything all at once. That doesn't make anybody feel overwhelmed. I don't know anybody.
yeah,
I don't know if that's any helpful, but I mean, the solace I can say is that anything you did in your lifetime, this probably hasn't been done by somebody else. It's been done by other people. And maybe it's 5 people who would belong to very similar things.
yeah.
See how they have it.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to close, but I want to thank you for helping me. You've been real good helping me just have a forum and a place to speak and a chance to think through things and talk through things. And I just want to issue kind of a general apology to everyone. Anyone I stole from or lied to or disappointed or whatever. I'm sorry. Yeah, so again, thanks, John. And I believe that's the end of season 1. We'll see if there's a season 2.